the shadow at the end of the hall. Sarah moved into an old apartment in the city, a tall, narrow building with hallways that stretched out long and dark. She noticed right away that her hallway always felt colder, even though there were no windows, and that it seemed oddly echoey, like someone could be lurking just around the corner. One night she was up late, scrolling on her phone in bed. She'd heard that her neighbors liked to walk around at night, but these footsteps sounded different. Heavy, dragging, like someone shuffling along in worn-out shoes. She got up, annoyed, ready to tell them off. But when she opened her door, there was no one in the hall, just the distant hum of the building settling. She was about to go back inside when she noticed something strange at the far end of the hallway, a figure nearly lost in shadow. The figure was unnaturally tall and thin, with long arms hanging down almost to the floor. Its head seemed slightly twisted, and its face was wrong. She couldn't make out details, but she could see the glint of its eyes watching her, and the strange way it moved, like it was struggling to hold itself up. Suddenly, it began to walk toward her, one dragging step at a time. She backed into her apartment, slamming the door shut and locking it, heart racing. She told herself it was just her imagination, but then she heard it. The same dragging footsteps, coming closer, stopping right outside her door. She held her breath, listening as something scratched against the wood, slow and deliberate. Then a soft, slithering voice whispered, "Come out, Sarah." Her stomach dropped. How did it know her name? The scratching continued for what felt like hours before it finally stopped. She stayed awake, terrified, until morning. The next day she told her landlord about the strange figure, expecting him to brush it off. But his face turned pale and he looked away. "You saw him?" he whispered. Her heart sank. "Who?" The landlord swallowed hard. "You're not the first. Tenants sometimes see things at the end of that hallway. Some have heard scratching and whispers. Others saw him in their mirrors or felt cold fingers on their neck at night. They say he was someone who never left." That night, Sarah didn't sleep. She tried to ignore the sounds, telling herself it was just the pipes, just the building settling. But then, just as she was drifting off, she felt it. A cold, bony hand resting on her shoulder. Her breath hitched. She was too afraid to turn around. Then she heard the voice, right in her ear. "Found you."